Boom, bam, bim. Wrestling fantasy back in. Okay, yo. On to the next. On to the next. Women's Elimination Chamber match. Women's Elimination Chamber match. Yes. Okay. All right, man. Okay, we hit him with all the little pretty nice entrances, and then boom, straight away as soon as Naomi got into that chamber, Jay Cargill looking good, I might add. Jay Cargill coming in looking dominant, I might add. Jay Cargill looking like a superhero. And man, she is going to be a huge superstar. You know what I mean? I would assume some of the reasons for that injury, I don't quite know the behind the scenes, but perhaps they felt she needed a little more seasoning. That's always been the complaint about Jay Cargill. Got a great look. Obviously, she looks like a super athlete. She looks like a superstar. She looks like a superhero. But a little awkward in the ring. Doesn't move quite so well. Just not quite all the way there and polished. Then it's seeming to take her a little bit longer to pick up the business than maybe some other people. But I mean, with the resources they have and with the potential she has, they're gonna get it done. And you know what? She looked great out there at the Elimination Chamber. Bruh. I mean, it was emotional. It felt real. You felt her dominance over, I would say, even presence and dominance energy over the rest of the woman. But the person that she was attacking, you felt that. You felt her dominating, absolutely demolishing and dominating Naomi and throwing her into the chamber and taking that door and slamming that against her while Bianca Belair looked on, helpless, trapped inside of one of those pods. It was a sight to see, man. Perfect way. That was done absolutely perfectly. I don't know how you would have made that any better. Because a lot of us did have that as the rumor that, oh, you know what, is Naomi the attacker? I think Naomi is the attacker. I think Naomi took out Jade, and no problem. They didn't try to hit us with a swerve on that one. They said, okay, cool, and they done that absolutely perfectly at the right time, right before WrestleMania, and very interesting to see what happens next. They teased perhaps Liv Morgan was going to be the attacker. But no, it turned out to be Naomi. You know what I'm saying? And she decimated her, man. And that was a cool way to even start the match. It wasn't in the middle of the match. They didn't go overboard by trying to have Jay be like super powerful and somehow break off the chamber door. That would have been kind of whack, honestly. Before it started, before anybody even engaged in any physicality, the first thing we seen was Jay Cargill ragdolling the hell out of Naomi while the helpless Bianca looked on. The emotion, they captured it, man, right there inside that chamber. While you have Liv Morgan adding another layer, you know, taking advantage. And maybe that's the perfect way for me to segue and throw a little praise on Liv Morgan right now. Because as a matter of fact, I recorded this video already. And halfway through me recording it, we got to check. Oh, okay, the blue light's on. I mean, hey, the audio just cut out and you just heard me. My lips were moving, but audio was not coming out of them. And I was devastated and pissed off. So now I'm re-recording it again. Hopefully this video is better than the original. It's hard to replicate the original, but perhaps I'm a bit more level-headed and a bit more prepared in this one. I don't think I have the same energy and the same pep in my step, but you know what I'm saying? We're going to break it down regardless. But in that video, I kind of went off on a little tangent, and I might have already done so with Jade, and that's cool. That's my style. I'm gonna tighten things up as I go. It's only my first few videos. God damn it! Don't worry, we're gonna get there. Okay, it's a new channel. We're gonna get there. Okay, don't worry. All right, but Liv Morgan, man, she's putting on some absolutely epic performances inside of that ring, outside of the ring, from her attire, her entrance, her dynamic with Raquel. Everything she's doing is absolutely top notch right now. And I don't think none of us expected it not to this level, right? She came out of that Rhea Ripley feud, which completely elevated her. They had her paired up with Dominic, which completely elevated her. But real, she really took that brass ring, bro. Like what I'm seeing now and what I'm praising really in specific with Liv Morgan is the subtleties we're seeing with the character work inside of the ring. Forget the promos right now and the stories that she's able to tell. Okay. And her look and her body language on the promo, even, but the body language in the ring. She's making everything matter, every hit matter. There's like a certain desperation when she gets a 2 count. She's like, you know what I mean? She's giving those facials. She's looking devastated, like fuck, like you know what I mean? Like she's always looking for some sort of underhanded tactic. She's looking stressed out. It's like it reminds me a lot of yo, man, the rated R superstar Edge in his heyday, man. She is like the female version of Edge right now. The way she's playing that snarky, underhanded heel, looking for any way, regardless of how she gets that W, she's gonna figure it out and find it. Doesn't matter how underhanded or how, you know what I'm saying? She's gonna figure out a way to pull that victory. And she knows she don't got the power and the might to beat you straight away. But you know, she's got this. And you're seeing that on display in the middle of the ring. She's able to bring that out, with her presentation. And that is something you don't always see. And that is a great space to be, a great spot to be taken advantage of, particularly as a female talent, because you're already going to be smaller, obviously than the guys. But even with the girls right now, there's a lot of smaller girls. You got the standouts like Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill. But how do you differentiate yourself from these people that do have that power and could kind of have that similarity to the men as far as dominance and power? And okay, this person looks like a super athlete. I understand why they're on my television set. But you have a lot of smaller girls where it's like sometimes they're only relying on some sort of aesthetic, and it's kind of getting played out. The purple hair and the rock star gear or the comic book cosplay look is getting played out right now. You can't get by just on that. Okay? And Liv Morgan has a fantastic look. All right? So she has that already naturally, and then she plays it up even more. But the subtlety that she's doing, the character work that she's doing, even so in the ring with every move she hits, there's some look of desperation, of, you know what I'm saying? That's something that she has special over a lot of the other female talent, and that makes sense for her to use because she's smaller. Some of these other girls that say, okay, you're smaller, how are you gonna differentiate yourself? How could we believe that you could defeat a Rhea Ripley, Nia Jax? Right? Are you just gonna rely on your athleticism just because you do cool moves? Like, I don't get it. Just because you're some sort of underdog that we're supposed to cheer for, but she's able to play this heel character, and that's what's lacking in the women's division right now. I'm going off on a mega tangent. This is not supposed to be a Liv Morgan video. It's supposed to be really a review on the Elimination Chamber, but we had to stop and give her flowers right now because she's doing something we don't see, and that's what they need to be doing. They created the Women's Intercontinental Championship and the Women's United States Championship. I don't think they needed to do that. If you're going to do that, just have one belt. Have the Women's Intercontinental Championship and call it a day. The two belts is too many belts. It's trying to find excuses to come up with automatic stories by creating these divisions so people have a reason to be facing each other. What they need is more character work and actual storylines in the women's division. You have your championship storyline, fair enough. You always need that blood feud, that personal rivalry, like a Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn rivalry on the card. You always need that. All right. Usually you have your big championship match, you have your very personal rivalry, and then maybe you go down to the United States slash Intercontinental Championship division, and then from there, whatever else. That's usually how you build the card. So someone needs to occupy that spot in the women's division, and Liv Morgan is leading the charge. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, beyond that, you also see her take that vicious whip of the hair by Bianca Belair that reverberated all throughout Canada. That was crazy. Big lash across her body too, man. So hey, man, she killing it in all ways, shapes, and forms, man. You know what I'm saying? She really carrying this division right now in many ways, man. So epic performance, but let's just fast forward through the rest because I've been talking way too much. And the main highlights was Jade Cargill taking out Naomi, which led to a Liv Morgan taking advantage of a prone and beat down Naomi for the 1, 2, 3. And then we ended up at the end of the match. Of course, I'm sure most people assumed this was going to happen, predicted this was going to be the two people it was going to come down to, Liv Morgan and Bianca Belair. And they put on quite a great back and forth. Like, Liv is not just a promo. She can go in that ring and make things make sense and make things look believable and make every move mean something. And she's done that, man. When she got caught up in the ropes and Bianca took advantage of her and turned that into a KOD, you know what I'm saying? And got the 1, 2, 3. There you go. That's how the match ended, and rightfully so. So I guess we're gonna be seeing Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. We seen at the end of the match celebration, Rhea Ripley came out to stare down Bianca Belair. In the background, we also seen Io Sky show up. So is it gonna be a triple threat? Interesting, man. A little bit unpredictable. We know we got that match coming up on Monday Night Raw. Rhea Ripley versus Io Sky. I would assume Rhea's going to retain. Maybe it's going to end in some sort of shenanigans and it's going to evolve into a triple threat. I feel like that has to be the reason. You would want to utilize Io's star power. I believe so in WrestleMania some way, somehow. So maybe it's going to evolve into a triple threat because other than that, it's kind of weird that Io was not in the Elimination Chamber. So you feel like there's some sort of bigger plans that they have for her for WrestleMania, perhaps involved in this feud somehow between the three. Also, like, is Bianca going to be a heel by the time it comes to WrestleMania? Because a lot of the other rumor that's going around is that she was the mastermind behind this Naomi attack against Jade. Did Bianca organized the hit? Is she the one that's the mastermind pulling the strings on Naomi to attack Jade? Does it come down to that? How is that going to play out? So it's so interesting how they have all these different storylines weaving into one another. How is that going to end up in a Rhea Bianca showdown at WrestleMania? Because my only problem with this is I think this is a huge match that a lot of us for sure want to see at some point. The only problem I would say is I think Rhea's stock has risen a little higher than Bianca's at this point. If this was a year or two back, it's definitely more or less even. Well, maybe Bianca was actually higher than Rhea at that point. I don't know, maybe in the last year. But, Bianca had a little bit of a slow year. It seemed like there was a little bit of a time where she's just kind of middling a little bit. They have, of course, the tag team championships kind of storyline with Jade was kind of felt like they were just a little bit stagnant there for most of the year. And then with Naomi, she teamed up with after that situation transpired with Jade, and she became the champion with Naomi. But she's kind of been in the mid card in a way. Of course, she still can turn it on like that. She's Bianca Belair, but you know what I mean? She was kept a little bit here while Rhea is has been risen to a whole new level. So right now for them to go head to head feels a little bit like, huh, I don't know, right? Like should it still be next year or like a SummerSlam thing? Like that's my only kind of concern with it right now. So, but you know, perhaps if you flip her heel and she's the one truly behind orchestrating this attack against Jay Cargill, maybe that's all that's needed to catapult her right back to that level. And I think Bianca Belair will make, I think she'll make a crazy heel. So that's gonna be interesting, man. But how they have it so unpredictable right now, that's what I really like, because that's been the problem with wrestling for sure. Maybe particularly in Vince McMahon era, it's been too predictable. So the fact that I don't know what's really gonna be the final card for WrestleMania, I don't really know what's gonna happen between now and then. As a very experienced wrestling fan, as a guy that's usually able to predict, oh yeah, this person's gonna face this person. This person's likely gonna win over this person. Usually I'm able to do that, right? But right now, for the past while, I can't. I don't know really who's gonna win, and that shit's exciting. That shit's interesting to me. So I'm gonna stay tuned and see what happens. And I don't know how they're gonna weave this Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi storyline. If that's the direction they're gonna go, I mean, well, they're gonna have to do something with Bianca. She's gonna have to be a part of it some way or another. Either she's the one that put it together, or it was Naomi all along. And I don't know how they're gonna play with that, but something's gonna happen, and weave that into the Rhea Ripley, uh, women's world heavyweight champion title defense WrestleMania match against Bianca. They're gonna find a way to do it though, man. And I'm plugged in and excited to see what the hell they do with that, man. But good match to start the show. Good way to start the show with Jay coming through, entering into that chamber and beating down Naomi. And man, magnificent work once again from Liv Morgan. And Bianca Belair is back on the ascend, man. So, and maybe a heel turn. Woo! That shit gonna cook, yo. All right, let's see what happens.